Much better. Otherwise, we
Oh,
can really
perfect.
see you in my big lights. So how are you?
Too much light. Totems, yeah, I made kind of what you said, like a
Yes,
list of
yes.
all of them. I did it more on the computer so I can edit more easily.
That's what I do.
Um,
You can cut, paste, and put it anywhere in social media. Oh, Jenny's here. So it's a good, you are learning principles of studying. Would you learn some when you were at school, but you are learning principles of processes and stabilizing the energies by anchoring them by, hi Jenny, you look nice with your hair.
Thank you. You too. Let that all go
Yeah,
back.
I like it sometimes. Oh my, it's hot. So I asked Luciana, how are you doing with your totems? And she says she's writing, typing in her computer. And I said, that's number one. You do not want to duplicate your work. You want to be efficient. So if you type it, you can cut and paste and use it all over your social media. One page can become an article, 10 points, bullet points, and lots of things. And then you start becoming more flexible, more agile. So I'm saying what she learned at school when she was with me, learning how to learn Spanish, how to highlight, how to break down the grammar. This is the same. It's all breaking out of big chunks of information into units that you can use. So decode, break down, recode, and put it out there with your own signature. That's basic, number one. Not many people do it, but that is a good beginning to start from. And what else did you say you were doing?
so then I just researched each animal a little bit more and kind of found out like the different cycles that they have, and just kind of putting more dates and times, kind of making correlations and bullet points.
Exactly.
But then I'm just going to let it do its thing, and then I'll look back at it with fresh eyes.
Yeah,
in some
because
time.
you have one source, but that's one point of view. There were my books. Now that I said, go to the internet, find other sources, other signatures. In between the sentences, there is always something. You start deciding, I like this way to recognize or understand this language of totems. Not just because they put it out there is valid for you. Only what resonates is valid for you. And you start gathering it together and you start creating like a signature of your own. And it starts making sense to you, then it can make sense to others. So that's what I said. All that is groundwork that nobody can do for you. This is like, and this is partly what I was talking to my sister, we're going to do later in Spanish. The issue of people wanting to go from A to B without going through the process, sometimes difficult, sometimes arduous, sometimes hard, of evolving, making one little step as the final project in itself, and adding these tiny final projects, becoming something bigger. It can be as big as, you don't know how big it can become. It can be huge, or it cannot be that huge, and you are happy. So you can control the growth of it, and how far you go, and how fast you go. Otherwise, it can become chaotic. People have the illusion that I want to be famous and rich. Do you really think that is a solution? Do you really think that is a solution to your life problems? Or is that just an added problem? If you are not there in your mind and it arrives before you're ready, it will break you. You see people who are rich and are in drugs and stuff like that. So you stabilize, then let it come, stabilize again, like a cake, layer after layer, and then condense, solidified, make it set. Not from A to B without the process of growth. Then you miss out on the richest part of life, which is the growth itself. Not get there, because when you are ready and you are there, it really means nothing. Like, yeah, oh, okay. Other people go, wow, but you say, but I was there before. I had already got there before. So now that is manifested, it's not really a big deal. Getting there was my big deal. Expanding, opening up, finding the resources, the way, putting it together, learning how to do it. That was the big deal. Do you resonate with it?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And Jenny?
Yeah, that's the trick, not to take step by step.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you understand why people think They want to go from A to B and bypass the whole process of evolution. Then what is your life? What have you learned? What have you understood? Who are you? Apart from a puppet that is seen to be doing the right things and having the right things. But inside, how do you feel? Do you feel full? Do you feel completed? Do you feel you deserve it? And I'm not talking about struggle. I'm thinking about getting the muscles, building yourself in the process, having that, I know who I have become, and being able to defend your place, your position, because you have the words, you have the understanding, you have the thoughts, you've gathered it, and build it together, and nurture it, and create something new that maybe nobody else has, because you got your own signature. Then the world is richer for it, not otherwise. What did you say, Jenny?
See.
Yes, I totally agree. It's a thing that it requires a lot of commitment.
Yes.
And it's a game of itself. Like,
yes.
I feel like now that I've done it for a while, I understand it's a game you play with yourself. It's not really
That's right.
a game that you play with other people. It's always, I always feel like I'm doing a mind acrobat. I feel like you always have to like bend here and bend there and like find your way. And at the beginning, it's like, oh my God, do I really have to do this? But then when I start to look at it as a game, it starts to become meaningful. It starts to become the meaning. So yes, I completely agree. This is to an extent the end of itself.
That's right. And that becomes the process, and that never ends. So you never quite get there, because when you get there, logical laws of the universe, you want to continue expanding. And now you are acquiring tools. Your toolbox is full. You will get challenges, but you will know you can face them. You don't have to break down and panic. And people say, you never have a problem. I absorb them. I integrate them. I break them down. I think, is this really so bad? Or am I really doing a lot of drama? Because people love the drama, you know? You have drama, you tell another, they go, oh, and they go down there in your sorrow and your pity, and then it all becomes a bigger drama, and then it totally loses control. So I don't even go there. I don't go there, and I don't even have to get lost in it, because I did get lost in it when I was younger. We all do it. It's part of growing up. I'm talking about spiritual growth. And then later you know to avoid it. And with that, you create your boundaries. So your boundaries are the parameters that you choose for yourself, in which you decide who is in, who is not in, and when you come out and when you don't. And you kind of surveil them on a regular basis. Who's stepping in? Who's making me feel uncomfortable? Why am I giving away my power? Why am I selling myself short? Why am I going to someone else's drama? Why am I allowing myself to be pulled? And all that is what you say, those contortions, that flexibility starts opening up your mind, and you become very agile. You become perceiving at different levels. You start tapping into things that are beyond the physical language of the sound itself. You start reading life between the lines. And I was saying to you in Zoom, I had a little experience this week that after the last full moon, I was talking with Jenny, and I thought this moon is asking us to put down specific functions, strategies, practical steps to achieve the next level where we are going. So now you have Luciana doing her totems in a constructive manner, and I am writing my book. I want to finish it, and I'm planning to do each chapter into a video, and then the videos make them as marketing, but also as lessons in themselves, and point everybody into the book and create a network of people who want to be modern alchemists. What we are selling is the idea of modern alchemists, those who know there is a parallel level to life, richer and more interesting, the 2/3 of the iceberg hidden under the water, where we want to tap, because that's where the power is. Power for yourself, no power over others. That is a misconstruct of the understanding of power. It's not even real. That's abuse, manipulation, sucking other people's energies. That is being an energy vampire. And by law, when you take what is not yours, it has to be taken from you afterwards. That's what we are talking about. We are talking about centering, strengthening, recognizing, setting parameters, choosing the path, choosing the steps, getting there through the processes, gathering in your rucksack all the tools that you need for the journey, getting out of the journey, learning something, coming back. You think, I wanted to do that and I am out. No, allow life to guide you. You are going to come back and continue your original path at a higher level if you allow it. And that flexibility that Jenny was saying, talking about, that is what's required to be successful in walking this path. Then it doesn't matter when you go exit to the other level, because at every level you are successful, because up to today, you are up to today. You have given to your days what the days asks, you have committed and delivered every day what each day asks. So you're successful in itself every day. You don't need anybody to tell you, you are famous and successful. You say, I feel successful. My level, my understanding of success is not being on the television. Forgive me, but that is very superficial. If I get there, maybe okay. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I don't want to be seen. You can work underground, helping lots of people without being famous, yet accessing and changing many people's lives. We got to stop understanding all these crazy ideas that someone gave us as the real thing. It's real if you want it to be real. It doesn't have to be real just because others say it's real. And then you get lost in that word. So I was at school, I was teaching, and I was thinking, I want to quit the school because I want to write. And I was teaching these children, and there was load shedding, so we didn't have electricity. So I said to my children, I sent a message to each one, download your lesson, be proactive, don't use the excuse of not having electricity or Wi-Fi as to not get anything done in your lesson. You know those are excuses, and I don't tolerate that. Get on with it. So someone else was looking after my children. They sat down, and he says, wow, Anna, your students behave so well. And I joked, I've trained them well. But you know, I don't need to be there physically. They know I'm there. They sense me. They know I will learn. Anna is laughing because he knows exactly what I mean it, right? She used to sit with me all the time. She used to want to be under my wing. She used to come, focus on her Spanish, and then leave her Spanish, tell me about her life, go back to her Spanish, and we would merge life and the studies. So she was growing physically as a person, and learning the language, and she got a really good mark when she didn't think she could do it. So this is what happens, they consolidate. And then, as I was thinking I want to leave the school, I heard, I promise you, this is the first time this has happened in my life, just to show you how far we can go. I heard the group soul of the children, my children at school, talking to me directly into my brain, in my heart, the new brain we are developing, and saying, don't abandon us. And something twists and turns in my heart, and I say, I can't abandon them. And that was my decisive point. I was, shall I leave? Can't I leave? Because this, yes, because this, no, plus, minus, you know, when you're, and then suddenly, a clarity comes with so much power, a higher calling. You don't know where it comes, but it comes and it hits you there where you feel it as true, and you go, this is my new destiny. I don't know where it's going to take me, but this is a pathway I have to follow. Maybe it will take me where I always wanted to go without knowing where that really is. But if you trust the universe, you will be guided. And then I thought, I've been doing this for 23 years, and all along, that has been my modus operandi. I feel it, I trust it, I sense it, I don't know why, I go and I do it. And I can't talk to anybody about it because nobody would understand this craziness. But I know in my heart to be truth, and it always becomes where I want it. it always manifests what I wanted. Looks different from what I thought. And this is why if you wrap it all up, when you have a dream, you can't just jump into the dream, because the life will take you in the ways that you are receptive. Life works with you in the way you allow it and tolerate it. Because if you're not ready, it's only going to shock you into breaking down. And then it takes a long time to recover yourself. When you burn out, when you have a big shock, you know, so you learn with the years to avoid that by flowing in the path of least resistance, like Abraham Hicks says, or the path of less effort, less struggle, less pain. And that is when it becomes interesting, because now you're like galloping in your horse, you're containing those energies. And that horse is no longer a wild horse. Now it's a horse that is kind of stopping. So can you see the value and the crazy, but the reality of what I'm speaking about? You want to comment? Ooh.
It all resonates. I think probably the trick is not like talking about it and just like going into it and just doing it, because sometimes I lose energy talking about it, and then it feels like I've done it because I've spoken it out, but I actually haven't done the stuff to make it
very good
materialize.
Very good point. Talking to yourself about it, like you've done it, but you haven't, and talking to others about it, trying to convince them of something you haven't convinced yourself yet. And then asking them for their permission and their approval when they don't even know what you're talking about. I always describe when I have my baby, they always say, and they do in the Native Americans and in many cultures, do not share your baby at the very beginning. Hold on to your baby a little bit until it's a little bit stronger. And this is the same, that's a lesson I learned. You hold on to it until it's stronger, and when it's yours and you own it, then you can go. That was an excellent point.
It's just about feeling, knowing when you own it. Yeah.
You will know it with total certainty, because something clicks. You feel the strength. You can defend it. You visualize yourself and you say, I am happy, agile, confident, relaxed. I don't have to go, huh. So someone tells you something and you have to defend yourself. When you don't need to defend it, then you have it. Jenny?
I think you described, I guess it's the energy at the moment, because I'm also experiencing the same thing, like trying to surf the wave, or trying to not go after my dream as the way I thought they should be, but to allow the universe to guide me. And it's not the straightest path. The path that opens up are not what I thought it would be. And for me, the greatest challenge is to humble yourself to these doors that are open, because they're not what you think. And I think for me, the most difficult thing is the ego. Like the ego really wants what she thinks she should get, and then not having it makes the ego really, really angry. And I think get to the point, like Anna said, the horse is no longer a wild horse. Maybe you were describing this feeling like your ego is in check. You don't have to, it kind of go crazy sometimes, but it doesn't override you and push you into direction that are not the best for you. Yeah, so I suppose this is how I see what you're describing happening to me.
It's very good how you put it. You put it very clean, very nice. So this is the work. The rest is add-on and the cherry on the cake. So people think, oh, I want to get there. Yeah, but I want to get there. Well, you know what? You are not going to get anywhere, because you have to do this thing first. Isn't it obvious though? We are not talking, I always say talking Chinese, and Jenny is in Hong Kong. So, but she loves, but I don't mean it like that. It's just in Europe, Chinese is a language that you know. So it's not talking Chinese, or for the Chinese, Spanish. It's not talking a language you don't understand. It's really basic concepts. It's about time we land on the earth and stop then people say to you, oh, you are in another planet. You know what? You are more on the earth than many people who say are on the earth, but are not taking time to understand the earth energies. I know there are laws of physics, 3D world, but there are also other laws, universal laws that maybe you don't see, but not for that they are less powerful, and they gel. And we want to work with the energies that gel. And do you want to know how you know it? Because everything around you is a mirror. I look at someone, mirror. I look at something, mirror. I don't like it. Look back in. Don't say you must change. No. What must I change? To change my mirror. It's a holographic universe. It's all in here and here. So when you get to the point that your mind and your heart align to that extent, that you hear between lines, and it doesn't matter, you don't hear words anymore, you hear feelings. You are tapping into such a deep global consciousness. I did not know you can actually tap into consciousness of groups. That is what I have discovered this week, which means you could tap into groups of animals, specific animals, you could tap into groups of population, you can tap into a group of a school or an organization. You know what I'm saying? Because when people come together, create a unit, even if it's temporarily. And I didn't realize, I thought you tap into individuals or the cosmic general global. But I didn't know there are in-betweens. But can you believe if you can tap into individual groups consciousness, you can mediate and negotiate things that other people can't, because you can translate where they are coming from. I can explain it to you because I've just discovered it and I'm so chuffed and excited. I don't know if I'm coming or going. It's like, where did I arrive? Where is this new world? I've arrived at a new world. Where am I? Somebody explain it. I have to decode it, because otherwise I can't explain it to others. But I don't imagine many people being able to explain it to me, because I don't know if anybody's here. They will arrive. They will arrive. But isn't that exciting to know, if you understand where I'm trying to come from, that someone someone doesn't have to tell you something for you to know it. And you don't need to go into the psychological patterns and box people in places. It's not something that comes from the mind. It's something that is asking for help. It's something that is put out there for anybody who can pick it up. And it's something that is at calling level. That at some point in your life, you may drop everything and change your path. That's how powerful it is. And you can. It's so powerful, you can. You can make a change of your whole reality and reorganize it in direction to this new calling. Is that pioneering work or what? It doesn't matter if nobody else knows. Even if those few people know, that's all that needs to be known, because the energy is still put out there in the universe, and the universe knows everything. So you don't do it to get something in return. You do it because you know that it's a total alignment to your original contract that you signed before you came here. And you know it's taking you in the right direction, not knowing what direction that is. Isn't that walking in pure faith? Isn't that what we are wanting to get to? Abandon yourself completely in total belief that you are guided, protected, and looked after. Isn't that full abundance? Then you don't lack for anything, because wherever you need, it comes to you. I rest my case. It's only taking me 55 years. Bring it on.
Yeah.
No, but I promise.
Yeah.
They say life starts at 40. Physically, life starts at 40 because your Kundalini releases naturally and you have a new lease of life. But really, life starts at 50, I promise you. Everything else is just preparation. Preparing. It's true. And now you can live longer and you can live younger. So you can be 1995 and still be rocking. So who cares about time?
Yeah.
Am I right or not?
Mhm.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
That's why I want to write, my next book is called Beautiful After 50. Because more and more people are hitting 50.
Woo-hoo!
More and more people are hitting 50. And I think all these people and all you guys, as you grow older, it's like a nice possible future to go to. I don't believe the earth will crack and die and burn and dissolve and evaporate. Because earth has decided it won't do that. But if we want to work with the earth, we will be invited and allowed and permitted. And if we don't, we will be kicked our butts out of here and go somewhere else and keep on growing, but at a different frequency. So this is the choice we have to make. Do we want to work in a cooperative manner, following my own plan and adding to the global plan? Or do I want what I want, no matter the cost? Am I part of the global? Am I part of the whole? Or am I the self-centered, individualistic, egotistic person who needs to be provided for and looked at, and walk into that conjunction, and you start moving in that way? You leave this path and forget about what you miss out. You don't miss out anything. You no longer miss out. You are tapping into the path of higher potential. And that's what the path of higher potential looks like. Does it create a clear picture that you think people would want to put the name down and, and join the forces of the spiritual warriors? So I sell practical spirituality. It's a spiritual path, but very practical. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both. That's why when Luciana said about the Trojans, I said, go for it, but this process or another process you can find. People want children to be free and take responsibility for the evolution and the education. You need to guide them. You got to put parameters. Nobody is born grown up. They are doing what they can. Yeah, but they are difficult. They are not difficult. They're just like not being guided properly. It's all about that. So I don't believe that there are difficult people. I believe there are maybe lost people. And once you guys, like me, once we find the way, you are self-maintained. You just come for a little bit of guidance and you go on your way, you're self-maintained. You don't need to be micromanaged. You're big people as you are. You already know everything. The soul is already grown. And that's why I treat people with that much respect. And that's how it should be, I think. Do you have any final comments?
Yes, like I agree, Anna, with what you said, like we are choosing a higher path. Personally, because I haven't been really involved, I'm still learning how to do this, like how to choose the higher path on a day-to-day basis. And so that's why I think I can speak to the struggle of it, because choosing the higher path on a day-to-day basis, it's really difficult, at least for me. And it's funny because I think it's also what the energy is asking us. Today it's the 9th of September, so it's a day where align, and when you choose between duality and everything comes together. And interestingly, today I made a decision, which is regardless of how things look on the outside, I will never I will always follow the energy, where the energy leads. Even if it leads me to a place that I don't want to be, I would never betray the energy, and I would never betray myself, because nothing worth betraying myself for. And I think it took a lot of me to arrive to a point where I can make such decision, because it means that my ego has to let go of a lot of things that it prides itself on. And the feeling of you are like not knowing who you are anymore, things that you're familiar, you need to let go of ideas that you project into the future, they no longer seems to be valid. And these things, going through this thing, it's I think it's for me, it's the only way to walk the higher path. I think for people like Anna, who has been doing this for so long, the switch is quite easy, like because you have just done it so long. But for people who are just starting out like myself, it's a lot of struggle to move the boulder, like to turn the boulder a little bit, and a little bit. So I understand why a lot of people struggle to do so. It is really difficult. But at the end of the day, I think this is still just a game. Like, it's just a game we play with ourselves. Like, behind all the pain and the decision and the crying and the release, it is still a fun game to play. Yeah.
Yes, very well put. Okay, so I love it. This is fantastic. I think we're becoming very clear. And if people listen to this, I think we're giving very clear parameters of something that really is very difficult to explain. So that's why I always like you when you give your version. So different people can tap into different one of us and relate to one or the other, the vocabulary, the expression, the communication. There is always a teacher and a student. You cannot always be everybody's teacher or everybody's student. So me, I release it. If someone relates, they relate. If they don't, they don't. We do it with the right intention and leave it out there. Thank you very much. It was great. I loved it.
Thank you, Anna.
And I'll see you this week.
Yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, talk next week.
See you. Ciao.
Bye.